It may be cold outside in Detroit, Michigan, but the floor at Cobo Hall has the hottest new cars, concepts, and coolest new gadgets. Almost 1,000 vehicles that cover nearly 100,000 square feet. It's the International Auto Show from Detroit, and it's next on NBC Sports. NBC Sports presents the 2018 International Auto Show from Detroit, Michigan. Hi everyone, I'm Marty Snyder, standing in possibly the greatest automotive showroom in the entire world here at the International Auto Show. Here on the floor at Cobo Hall, you get a sneak peek at the cars that'll be in your local showroom later in 2018. Of course, all the new technology, all the cool concepts. Everybody loves talking about those. Hollywood stars walking around on the floor. And we get to know which manufacturers walk away with top honors for 2018. 2017 was a very strong year for the automotive industry, and they're expecting 2018 to be just as robust. Joining me as always, part of our motorsports family here at NBC Sports, Katie Hargett, Kevin Lee, and Townsend Bell, who in typical race car driver fashion has already found the coolest concepts unveiled here in Detroit.
Well, guys, it's great to be back here at Detroit, and I had to stop here at Infinity to see this absolutely gorgeous Infinity Q inspiration concept. You know, a lot of times with concept cars, of course, they're probably not going to build exactly this. You've never seen it on a showroom floor, but the design language is really interesting when you take the time to speak to the designer. And it starts on the side here with this very sculpted, streamlined, and arguably simplified shape. It reminds me of the side pod of an Indy car or a Formula One car. It suggests downforce, it suggests low drag, and that simplicity and streamlined look continues in the front. I think there's a lot of sort of marine animal influence here. You know, very sleek slits here for the headlights, very shark-like groove on the intake here. But then this reminds me a lot of like the ventral grooves on a whale. So maybe we're looking at a whale shark love child. Chew on that for a second while we go and look at the inside. Inside the car, it's just so beautifully simple, but still luxurious. You've got this flying bridge center console. Very, very cool. And then I love the stitching on this car. It's a single stitch. That's actually an embroidered stitch that pulls down each little dimple to create this sort of embroidered look with impressions. But again, it's so simple and clean. This design language at Infinity is fantastic. And this is another stunning concept, this time at Lexus. This is the LF1 Limitless, and you can't avoid this color. This is a rose gold copper fusion, and it is so glossy, so seductive, just like a fine piece of jewelry. And they take that jeweled effect even to the center cap. Look at the detail here with the bezeled effect on the wheel center cap, much like a luxury watch. Now let's go inside and look what Lexus has done. It starts with that copper and rose gold effect with the subframe that really supports the center IP panel with these beautiful floating digital rear view side mirrors. Inside as well, you'll find that cocoon effect that we loved on the LC500 Coupe, where the driver and passenger are both really encased in their own little zone. It's very comforting, it's very confidence-inspiring, especially when you're driving at the limit. Now, this is an SUV concept, but to find out more about production SUVs, let's go over to Katie.
Townsend, the concept of the functional SUV is really nothing new. Ford really brought this segment to life with the introduction of the Explorer in the 1990s. Since then, the market's exploded. Now we see options from names like Alfa Romeo, Jaguar, and if you can believe it, Lamborghini. Back where the rubber meets the road for most of us are two familiar brands with strong launches in 2019. Ford is building its legacy with the new 2019 Edge and Edge ST, while Jeep is reaching back to the Cherokee badge to bring a wide array of trim levels. Each are looking to fulfill the passions of their own enthusiasts in different ways, Ford with performance and Jeep with off-road ruggedness. It's no surprise we see these unique paths since the SUV market is quite large, with projected global sales at 21 million cars by 2020. Ford alone has sold 1.3 million Edges since 2006, and Ford thinks the future sales will be driven in part by the uniqueness of millennials coupled with growing family needs.
The SUV market is really growing super quickly. We've seen a huge shift, and I think what's driving that is a lot of millennials who are coming into a family life stage in a lot of cases.
Nearly 40% of Edge buyers are women, and now Ford is looking to expand their buyer profile with a performance model called the Edge ST. This SUV offers 335 horsepower, ST-tuned sport suspension, sport mode, new quick-shifting 8-speed transmission, standard all-wheel drive, and the most powerful V6 in its class. The Edge ST is fun, but it's a long way from Henry Ford's Just Black option. This is a bright Ford Performance Blue, and I think it's going to be a hit. From bright, bold colors to bold excitement, I'm joined now by Mark Allen, who is the head of Jeep design. And Mark, we're in front of the Cherokee, the 2019 Cherokee, which I think of as a very established brand. What's new about the car this year?
Well, Cherokee, we launched in 2014, and it's been a few years now. It's time to refresh it. So what we've done is put a new face on it, upgraded some of the features, the powertrain. We put a little bit more space on the inside, honestly. It has the ability to be sort of upscale and premium with the Overland Edition or the Trailhawk, which is really the off-road version. This vehicle has got a lot of great Jeep attributes, off-road ability, rear locking differential, sits a little bit higher with a meteor tire, but this is really the fun machine.
Speaking of fun, when I think of Jeep, I think of fun. So what sort of activities, yeah, that was the goal, right?
Yeah.
So what sort of activities do you imagine your customer base doing with this vehicle?
This vehicle, the Trailhawk especially, set up for camping. You can go do pretty much any trail you need to do with this.
Thank you, Mark, for joining us today. And whether you're the camper like Mark was talking about, or you want just some open road, I think both Jeep and Ford have you covered.
Katie, as always, technology is front and center here at the International Auto Show in Detroit. Coming up, we'll tell you what electric vehicles are creating a buzz, what sports cars are turning heads, and there's a Chinese manufacturer here that is hoping to debut in the U.S. as soon as next year. Stay with us.
The winner is the 2018 Honda Accord.
Welcome back to Detroit. You know, with so many cars on the floor here at Cobo Hall, it's kind of hard to measure them against one another. So one way to do that is by the awards they win. The most coveted of all of those awards, North American Car of the Year. And as you saw a moment ago, the winner in 2018, the newly redesigned Honda Accord. And Honda went with a completely clean sheet in redesigning this perennial favorite, including the world's first ever 10-speed automatic transmission in a front-wheel drive car. The all-new Accord features a lighter, more rigid body and a host of driver-assistive technologies. And the price point, of course, that's what everybody wants to know, $23,500 is where the new Honda Accord starts. Bring in Kevin Lee. And you know, Kevin, it's been a pretty awesome run for the folks here at Honda at the North American International Auto Show. North American Awards for 3 straight years. In 2016, it was the Civic, Ridgeline last year, and this year, the Accord.
And Honda is going to add to its portfolio with the return of the Insight Hybrid. It was originally introduced in 1999. This is the third time it's been made over, and this time they are promising a heady 50 miles per gallon. This is a prototype, but it will be available later this year. And Honda is hoping that the third time is the charm. This version is a bit bigger and more of a sedan. It's stronger with some style. The front end in particular mimics that of its big brother, the Accord, complete with similar gimlet-eyed LED headlamps, bookending a forward-leaning grille. The company says that the engine will function as a generator in nearly all circumstances, enabling a version of its well-regarded 1.5-liter four-cylinder backed by a new 2-motor hybrid system. Expect a price in the high 20s when the Insight Hybrid is released later this year. Toyota's redesigned 5th-generation Avalon was also unveiled here in Detroit, and what first struck me is that it does look longer. It's a bit lower. It's wider as well. At the front, I really like the grille, and the adaptive LED headlights really give it a nice panache, a different look for the exterior of the car. Also featuring a new V6 engine, adaptive suspension, and a boatload of standard safety features. The Avalon will offer 4 trim lines. Hybrid versions are also available. Powering Toyota's largest sedan is a new 3.5-liter V6 engine hooked up to an 8-speed automatic transmission. The hybrid version combines a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine with 2 electric motors. The hybrid's battery pack is located under the rear passenger seat. The new Avalon is available with leather, wood, or aluminum trim, and lots of soft touch materials. Infotainment equipment includes a 9-inch touchscreen with pinch and flick capability for the audio, navigation, and automatic climate system controls. Power for mobile devices comes from a 12-volt plug, a wireless charger, and up to 5 USB power ports. The available smartwatch and Amazon Alexa connectivity allows users to lock, unlock doors, start the engine, or check the car's fuel level. That system is voice controllable and compatible with select Android or Apple devices. The top optional audio system gets 14 speakers and 1,200 watts. Limited and touring models also come with a standard color 10-inch heads-up display. Toyota's Safety Sense P is standard across all trim lines, and it includes forward collision warning and automatic emergency braking. Built in Georgetown, Kentucky, the new Avalon goes on sale in late spring.
And Kevin, there are so many different ways to power those cars. For example, Hyundai is working with alternative fuels like hydrogen to power their Nexo, and reports say Chevrolet is looking to deliver an all-electric, completely autonomous car sometime really soon. Earlier this month, Hyundai started telling the story of Nexo. It's a crossover SUV powered by hydrogen fuel cells.
This is a dedicated platform just for hydrogen, and the reason we did that is so we can maximize the interior cabin with a completely different powertrain system and a completely different storage system for the fuel itself. It allows us to maximize the cabin space and to really maximize vehicle dynamics with a dedicated platform.
Nexo is just one of 18 Eco vehicles that Hyundai plans to market by 2025. Chevrolet is no stranger to electric vehicles. They've had the Bolt EV in production since 2015.
Since its introduction, then we've sold about 24,000 of them. In addition to being a great retail success for us in terms of delivering the nation's first affordable long-range electric, it's also our research vehicle for all of the autonomous vehicle work that we're doing.
Chevrolet plans to make a fully autonomous Bolt EV with no steering wheel, no pedals. That means there's no human control at all. They have applied for testing with NHTSA, and they're looking to launch a fleet of these cars as rideshare vehicles in San Francisco in 2019. So as you can see, we've got some big things coming from this alternative fuels world.
So this is the all-new, the world premiere of the BMW i8. Now, a beautiful gray example behind us in the new coupe, but I really love the Roadster version, and this is a pretty stunning color. They call this E-Copper. This is a limited edition. There will only be 200 of these made. In fact, this has the placard. This is the first edition of the 200 that will be offered. Now, I've always struggled a little bit with the i8 because it's not particularly high power. It's got a 1.5 liter, 3-cylinder engine, makes about 230 horsepower. That's supplemented by about 140 horsepower of electric power, which can be married together, of course, in hybrid mode, or you can go pure electric for about 35 miles. So I suppose a little lighter on the environment, moderate on performance. It does look good, and you do have to maybe compensate for the performance with something really cool, and they do that with scissor doors. So a nice looking update to the BMW i8, still similar on performance level, and that's what's going on here at BMW.
Chinese automaker Guangzhou Automobile Group, known as GAC Motors, is back here at the show for the 4th consecutive year, but this is the first time they've offered up a specific timetable as to when they'll sell cars here. 4th quarter 2019 is now the stated goal, which would be the first time a Chinese automaker has sold cars in the U.S. market. This year at the show, GAC brought 2 new vehicles, including an electric concept the automaker says is aimed at younger buyers. The Inverge is a compact crossover, the 2-door electric concept with virtual reality screens embedded in the side windows. That's very interesting. It has a 71 kilowatt battery with a range of 370 miles and a wireless charger. GAC Motors claims the vehicle can be charged enough in 10 minutes to travel 240 miles. The GA8, GAC's flagship vehicle, comes powered by a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4, delivering 198 horsepower. The Volvo S90 or the Mercedes E-Class have been mentioned as similar. Although various Chinese auto companies have made similar promises in the past that never came to fruition, GAC is edging closer to the U.S., having already established a joint venture in China with Fiat Chrysler Automobiles. To be sure, GAC's route into the U.S. remains unclear. Without a dealership network, the company would likely have to partner with an existing automaker, invest heavily in its own stores, or even sell online. It's also unclear whether the company can meet the stiff auto safety regulations required to sell cars in the U.S. Still, GAC appears determined to get here despite the many hurdles and challenges to launch in the U.S. Marty?
Hey, Cab, we can't do a show without our buddy Rutledge Wood. Hi, Rut. How you doing? You know, seeing Rutledge and the rest of the Toyota racing family of drivers and Martin Truex Jr.'s championship car from last year reminds us NASCAR is just around the corner. You'll want to join us on the NBC Sports family of networks. We pick up our coverage in late June this year. Look forward to seeing you there. Coming up next from Detroit, who wins Truck of the Year? Find out in a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, meet the Ford Ranger. All new for North America and ready to help Ford take our rightful place in the mid-size truck segment.
Welcome back to Detroit. You know, a lot of the talk at the International Auto Show has been about trucks, including a much anticipated unveiling from Ford. After a 7-year hiatus, the Ford Ranger is back. And after being gone from the market for so long, a lot of truck enthusiasts really wanted this smaller platform back, and Ford was happy to make it happen.
We're really excited to bring this legendary nameplate back to the U.S. market. As you know, Ford trucks have the DNA built Ford tough. We've done really well, the market leader for over 41 years with our F-Series, and now we're going to extend that into our mid-size segments.
Looking at the new Ranger, you get a clear sense of the Ford truck DNA with a platform of the F-150 serving as the base. The all-new Ranger is geared towards the urban driver that wants the capability of a truck on weekends for fun, but also needs the efficiency of a car during the week. Fuel numbers are not released yet, but being powered by a second-generation 2.3-liter four-cylinder EcoBoost engine and a 10-speed transmission, the numbers should be close to top of class. Deliveries will start in the first quarter of next year, with the base model starting around $25,000. And by all accounts, the 2019 Ford Ranger appears to be a winner. Looks like it can handle everything an F-150 can handle, an even more efficient fuel package. And we might have an early contender for 2019 Truck of the Year. Kevin, I believe you have some insight on who won 2018 Truck of the Year. But honestly, the big question on the floor, is it really a truck?
Marty, that is a question that some are asking, and honestly, that was my first reaction as well when I heard of the award. The Lincoln Navigator appears to be a big luxury SUV, but it does tick off all the boxes to be included in the truck category, and it gave Lincoln its first award of this type in any of the 3 categories: car, SUV, or Truck of the Year.
The Navigator is actually built off a frame that's very similar to the F-150. It's what in the industry they call body on frame. Uses essentially the same powertrain that you're going to find in a pickup truck, and that's kind of how it ended up in the truck category.
And the 8,600 plus pounds of towing capacity helped lead the 60 journalists that vote on the awards to include the Navigator in the truck category. Manufacturers do not enter a category for consideration. The 2018 Navigator offers all new Lincoln Drive Mode technology, an advanced system that allows owners to adjust the vehicle to make driving easier and more enjoyable in any weather or terrain with just the twist of a knob. An all-new heads-up display is customizable to complement the 12.3-inch digital cluster, incorporating the same groundbreaking digital light processing technology used in movie theaters. Once you start getting into the details of this vehicle, it's pretty easy to see why it was chosen as Truck of the Year. The power, the look, so many assets that stand out, and maybe even more so on the inside, not just because it's spacious, 10 power outlets, other features, but the seats, they're unbelievably comfortable. The Lincoln Navigator is in dealerships now.
Well, nothing says heavy duty like a giant truck stashed on top of a bunch of I-beams. It wasn't pretty getting it up here, but I managed. This is the all-new 2019 Ram truck, fully redesigned. It's been 6 years since a full redesign for Ram, and they've done an exceptional job in all the key areas for getting the job done. That's stronger, lighter, more towing capacity, more interior cabin volume. Everything has been re-examined and refined, strengthened where needed. But inside is where it gets really cool. So instantly inside you notice this massive 12-inch touchscreen. It can be split into 2 screens, top and bottom, or one giant display, much like what you'd see in the Tesla. Overhead, this beautiful 10-square-foot glass sunroof. Never seen anything like it on a full-size truck. And of course, this center console has all kinds of multi-function capabilities, storing laptops, large items, small items. There's about 10 different compartments, and it's all customizable. And of course, the luxurious leather and embroidered stitching. It looks like a high-end import luxury sedan through and through. They've thought of just about everything in this Ram. Well, as you can see, bigger, stronger, everything's better here at Ram Truck. I'm psyched. I'm going to go try to tow my house with this thing. In the meantime, let's head over to Katie Hargett, who's looking at some cars targeting a totally different segment.
Townsend, I'm with a car that's growing up right alongside its customer base. It's Kia's all-new Forte. It's now in its third generation, and Kia wanted to add power and size to catch the eye of millennials. The 2019 Forte has a longer hood and short deck that gives it a more fastback shape. And those creases in the hood help the sporty image, meant to give the car a more muscular appearance. Under the hood, you'll get a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine with a 6-speed manual or Kia's first in-house design and built variable transmission. It's the first in a new line of SmartStream powertrains that will eventually make their way into the rest of Kia's lineup. And they certainly did give millennials exactly what they wanted inside. Check this out: an 8-inch touchscreen, a way to read your text messages through Bluetooth with a wireless charging tray. Then on top of that, they upgraded the steering for less friction and reworked the suspension to give it that more race car-like feeling.
Millennials want something that is affordable, good-looking, connected, features and benefits that fits their lifestyle.
Here at Hyundai, designers are also trying to attract that millennial buyer with their Veloster. Check this out. On the driver's side, you have just one single door to give it that look of that sport coupe. Walk around to the passenger side, and there's 2 doors that create a versatility for passengers and cargo. Under the hood, it's fast and fun.
It's going to bring a 275 horsepower engine, corner carving, active differential, tremendous handling and dynamic capability in terms of turning, braking, steering, as well as acceleration. It's going to give us a true performance vehicle in our lineup that really we haven't had in quite a while.
Just to put that into perspective, that 275 horsepower is half of what an Indy car hits on a speedway. And that sportiness is made by a 2-liter direct injected power plant, complete with an overboost function.
It's been our #1 car appealing to millennials of all our lineup. And that's important because by 2020, millennials will be the single largest buying group of new light vehicles in the United States. So for us to find a vehicle that really resonates with them is very important.
More companies are paying attention to this segment, following the millennials to follow the money.
Well, Katie, of course, we always talk about the new cars and the concepts here at the International Auto Show, but one product that's caught our eye outside of Cobo Hall is made by Line-X. It literally can color match any color on an SUV, truck, or car, and if you have a youngster coming up, might not be a bad idea to coat it in this because it protects against scratches, dings, anything you can think of. Coming up on the International Auto Show on NBC Sports, more on SUVs and the show within the show, automobility. That's next.
This is Cross Motion Concept, a highly advanced crossover that fuses American utility with Japanese craftsmanship and modern technology.
And with that fanfare, Nissan unveiled its latest concept, the Cross Motion, here at the International Auto Show. And I'll say this concept car looks more like and acts more like a smartphone than it does an actual car. From the fingerprint authentication used to start the car to the virtual assistant that awakens when activated. And that virtual assistant is a helpful koi fish, believe it or not. Not kidding on that front. Continuing inside, check out this, a real cedar wood dash that includes multiple screens that run the length of the dash. And the steering wheel, that looks like it belongs more in an Indy car than an actual passenger car. Although this Nissan concept is very cool, pretty sure it won't be produced anytime soon, but who knows, it could be the future of crossovers. Speaking of the future, Katie has more from the show within the show here in Detroit.
Marty, this addition to the show is just in its second year. Automobility brings fresh ideas to transportation with everyone from automakers to tech startups and even government organizations. So they all converge here at the International Auto Show to figure out what the future will look like with mobility as a service. 2 big brands researching hard to provide these services are Ford and Toyota. Hot off the Consumer Electronics Show are some interesting ideas that all combine web, retail, and transportation that suit your personal needs. Toyota is showcasing its mobility services platform. You can see the 3 concepts here behind me, including this little guy that I picked out, the iWalk. It's a rolling mobility transport that's designed for sidewalks. Think of it as kind of a slimmed-down Segway. It's joystick controlled and warns riders of any dangers. This urban mobility vehicle easily fits in your trunk and simply steers as you learn. It's small, smart, and convenient. Toyota's expanding its electric offering and really looking into the future that is mobile, driverless vehicles designed for shipping and delivery direct to the customer. The e-Pallet brings hardware and software support designed to help a range of companies that can use this advanced mobility technology. Think people, package, and pizza delivery. Toyota already has launch partners like Amazon, Pizza Hut, Uber, Mazda, and more who will collaborate on vehicle planning, application concepts, and vehicle verification activities like facial recognition. Much like Toyota's tech growth, Ford is betting on what they call the living streets. It's bringing the cities back to the people by easing congestion and providing green cities.
In fact, 1/5 of all urban congestion today is the delivery of goods. If we think about managing that curb space better, freeing up that space to improve the flow of traffic in the city, and also making it better for the delivery of those goods and services to the people, so it's done in a way that is on time for them and increases the flow and the harmony in the city.
With big names like Ford and Toyota, along with hundreds of developers, we see exciting developments all the time at Automobility. All of this gives us good reason to be really excited about what's to come in the year ahead.
Volkswagen has introduced a redesigned Jetta, aiming to renew interest in the compact sedan after it was tarnished in the global emissions scandal. One thing that might help, a little more car for slightly less money. Designers gave the new model a coupe-like exterior with a sloping roofline. The new model gets a 1.4-liter engine with 147 horsepower and 6-speed manual or 8-speed automatic transmission. It's slightly longer, wider, and taller than its predecessor too. The Jetta also gets several new safety features. They include a standard rear-view camera, an optional forward collision alert, emergency braking, blind spot monitoring, and adaptive cruise control. The new Jetta hits dealerships in the second quarter with a starting price of about $18,500 or $100 less than the previous model. Now over to Townsend and Marty, who I understand have found a Hollywood legend.
Yeah, Kevin, I've caught up with a Hollywood legend. No, not Townsend Bell, but the iconic Bullitt, the Mustang Bullitt, 1968. You remember this movie, don't you? The great car chase scene. Most iconic movie car ever, you think, maybe?
No question. I think because of the era in which that film was shot, I mean, this is not a special film car. They just did it. Steve McQueen said, I want it to be the best chase scene, and it was dangerous, and it was bold, and certainly very cool.
Are you ready for a little quiz?
Hit me.
All right, true or false, Steve McQueen tried twice to buy the original Bullitt from the owner who had it at the time and was turned down.
I'm going to say true.
That is true. It's Mr. Kiernan who owned the car, and he actually never even responded to the second letter. That's pretty good. All right, how many Mustangs were used in the movie Bullitt? That one you may not have the answer to.
4?
2. That's it. This was the hero car, and they had one that they just wrecked a lot, they said.
But they wanted 4. If they could have had 4, they would have wanted them.
They could have had 4 if they wanted 4. I'm sure they could have made that happen, but it's amazing to me they got through with just 2 of them in the movie. They found the other one in a junkyard in Mexico, believe it or not. All right, how about the new one they have here? The 50th anniversary of the movie, that's why we're here. The brand new one here. What do we think of this car, Townsend?
Well, the fact that it's in that stunning Highland green, a little glossier than what we see here. This has got the patina, this has got the high gloss effect, but the green is actually very stunning in person. I love the fact how it's absent all of the badges, save for the big Bullitt logo on the steering wheel and the iconic white cue ball shift knob. You got to have that if it's going to be a Bullitt car.
So all told, 475 horsepower, top speed of 163. That's 8 miles an hour faster than the normal GT. It's going to be between $45,000 and $55,000. We buying one of these? What do you think?
I'm going to take 2 and make a movie.
Oh, there you go. You could make a movie, couldn't you? You know what's faster than the Bullitt Mustang?
What's that?
The 2018 IndyCar. Brand new this year. Coming up next on NBC Sports, we'll show you the car that everyone in the racing world is talking about, the debut of the new 2018 IndyCar.
In the 2018 North American Utility of the Year is the Volvo XC60.
And with that announcement, for the second time in 3 years, Volvo takes home Utility of the Year honors from the International Auto Show. Taking cues from its bigger brother, the XC90, the 2018 XC60 wins the honors this year. With safety features like steer assist, which takes control of the wheel to avoid head-on collisions, to a new blind spot indication system that allows the car to steer, brake, and accelerate on well-marked roads. Starting at $41,500, Volvo offers this car with the same twin-engine technology, which operates as a gas and electric hybrid. Well, clearly Volvo doing something right, winning Utility of the Year honors again here at the International Auto Show. So from the 2018 Utility of the Year to one that might win it in 2019, here's Kevin.
Marty, Mercedes has unveiled a new version of its utilitarian, rugged luxury SUV, taking direct aim at Land Rover. The G-Wagon, its nickname, will maintain its military bearing and also off-road capabilities while upgrading what you find on the interior. Despite being on the road for nearly 40 years, it's never once received a complete redesign until now. Meet the brand new 2019 Mercedes-Benz G-Class. Mercedes didn't see any reason to mess with the G-Class's iconic shape. Instead, Mercedes had its team put most of its effort into completely re-engineering everything else. The interior has been completely redesigned. The passenger grab handle is still there, as are the center-mounted switches that control the 3 locking differentials. Mercedes says legroom and shoulder room have both increased. Mercedes swapped out the old 7-speed auto for its new 9-speed unit. But just because Mercedes improved the G-Class on-road manners doesn't mean it's any less of a hardcore off-roader.
So at this show, you'll find high-performance cars, of course, supercars, but nothing like this. This is IndyCar, the 2018 IndyCar. It's the fastest racing series in the world, and we're here with 2017 IndyCar champion Josef Newgarden. Joseph, big changes for the car this year. Way less downforce. That's going to be a whole lot more driver on the track. What kind of adjustments have you had to make behind the wheel?
Yeah, well, the drivers certainly got what they wanted. We asked for a more difficult car. The byproduct is a great-looking race car. You know, people that loved IndyCar race in the 80s, the 90s, it's really a throwback to me of what IndyCar is all about. It looks beautiful, but like you said, it's more difficult to drive. You got a car now that's moving all over the place. It's not comfortable. You got to really be, you know, on top of the wheel now much more than you have to. I think we're going to be braking at short ovals. So, you know, all the stuff that the drivers have asked for, a more difficult, better racing car, I think we're going to get next year.
Now, you won something like $10 million last season with your championship. We're here at this amazing show, all this great stuff. What do you have your eye on? What do you want to buy and take home today?
Man, I tell you, I absolutely love the Camaro ZL1 1LE. I thought they did an amazing job on it. I've actually gotten to drive it a couple times. So being a Chevy guy, I'm partial, but I'm telling you, I love this Camaro. I've got to get it. I've been begging Chevy to let me have it. So that's probably my favorite. But, you know, depending on what you want, you get a little bit of everything here. You get about, you know, what's coming out now with the current manufacturers. You get some futuristic stuff. So that's what's been fun about introducing this IndyCar today is you get sort of the future look of what IndyCar is going for. But really, it's a throwback. It's a throwback IndyCar. So we're getting people in the swing of a good-looking car, a difficult car to drive, and I'm happy everyone came out to see it today.
Well, that's what the champion has to say. Let's go see what his boss has to say with Kevin Lee.
Thank you, Townsend. I've got Joseph's boss here, Roger Penske, and also Mark Miles, the CEO of IndyCar, and the legend himself, Mario Andretti. Roger, let's start with you. You've won the last 2 championships, but is it a whole new ball game with essentially a new car now?
Well, there's no question about it. All the teams have been so competitive, and now we have a level playing field with aerodynamics. There'll be no crying one way who has an advantage or not. Now it's going to be engine power, driver ability, and strategy will make the difference.
Mark, IndyCar has had a fantastic presence here in Detroit for the last couple of weeks. You had a big presentation before the event opened. What was the idea behind really kind of kicking off the season here?
Well, the whole automotive world is here, and I mean the world, not just the U.S. And so, you know, we're looking for a third OEM potentially, and there's all the media that we would want to be in front of. And so to be able to show off the car where they can see it for the first time was a great opportunity.
Mario, NBCSN's first race is going to be the second race of the season at Phoenix, and they're going to celebrate the 25th anniversary of your last win in 1993. Do we know that's the last win, or are you trying to still get a ride?
Well, I'm still trying to get a ride. Yeah, I still can probably put something together, but it's so awesome that they're doing that for me, obviously. Phoenix is a venue that was so important for me in my career. I've done thousands of miles of testing there throughout the decades, and then I win there my very last race in IndyCar, and now it's 25 years, so I guess they're going to commemorate that, if you will, and I'm just very excited, and I feel humbled.
Everyone is excited about IndyCar for this season as we move into 2018. 12 of the 17 events will be here on NBCSN. The season begins on March 11th. Stay with us. We've got much more coming up from the International Auto Show in Detroit.
the new 2019 RDX prototype.
As you can see for Acura, their brand new big reveal here at the International Auto Show, the RDX prototype. And this 5-passenger SUV is a complete redesign from the previous outgoing model. Working off the Acura Precision concept car, which debuted here in 2016, the RDX prototype is loaded with new features like a touchpad interface for screen controls, much like a mouse, panoramic roof and heads-up display to help you keep focused on the road, and under the hood will be a new 2-liter engine with a segment-first 10-speed transmission and available super handling all-wheel drive. And Katie, as you can see, it does say prototype back there, but actually it should say production car because Acura already has plans for this to be in showrooms later this year, just in case you're in the market for an SUV.
Marty, I try to tell myself that what I need is an SUV, but what I really want is one of these SACs. What I found here at the International Auto Show is BMW's X2. It's a sport activity coupe, and let me tell you, it might just be my favorite yet. X2 has the quality and heritage of a BMW, but also a unique look meant to attract young couples, singles, and active lifestyle folks who like to show their personality. This is the first sport activity coupe on this smaller platform, and the X2 joins the X4 and X6 in the SAC family. And Kev, I think I can see you driving one of these things around town.
Katie, go ahead and put that on my list as well, which continues to grow. Some options are a little more realistic than others, but this one might be in my financial wheelhouse. It's the 2019 Chevrolet Silverado. Expect fuel economy and functionality to be major selling points when the all-new Silverado full-size arrives in dealerships late this year. New equipment will include the first power tailgate on a pickup and a 3-liter inline-6 Duramax diesel to save fuel and reduce emissions while maintaining towing capacity. The Silverado is a bit longer than the outgoing model. Cargo room also increases. Chevy will build 2-door regular cab Silverados and extended cab models with a small rear seat and rear doors in addition to the very roomy 4-door crew cab. Chevrolet will initially offer 8 trim levels from a basic work truck to the near luxury high country package. 6 engine transmission combinations will be available, including new 5.3-liter and 6.2-liter V8s. Chevy save weight by using light materials in targeted applications, including aluminum for the doors, hood, and tailgate. The bed and frame make extensive use of high-strength steel. 80% of the frame consists of high-strength steel that varies in thickness. 3 different bed lengths will be available, all with more cargo room than previous models. The 2019 Silverado starts at just under $30,000. Marty?
Thank you, Kevin. It's time to show you guys the glitz, glamour, and speed that's on display here in Detroit. What's up at Lamborghini? How about Rolls-Royce? All that coming up next on NBC Sports. All right, time for everybody's favorite part of the show. We promise luxury and speed. I get the tough part, the luxury. So what does $450,000 buy you if you're in the car market? How about the Rolls-Royce Phantom 8, the one that sits right here? $520,000, over $500,000 for this car. And as you would expect from Rolls-Royce, every little detail immaculate. And a good example of that, just the pinstripes on this car. It takes 3 hours to paint one pinstripe, and there is one human being on the planet who paints those for Rolls-Royce. Under the hood, exactly what you would expect from Rolls-Royce, a beast. 563 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 5.2 seconds with a twin-turbo V12 6.75-liter engine. How about inside? Perfection, as you might imagine. Mark, would you mind opening my door for me? It has the plush carpets on the floor and bullhide leather for the seats. But the cool thing is, we used to call this a dash. Well, now at Rolls-Royce, they call it a gallery. You can completely make this customizable. You can put family pictures in here, artwork if you want. So when people sit in your Phantom, they know it's your Phantom. And when you pay $500,000 for a car, why reach outside to close the door? You just hit this button and the door shuts automatically. You know, you don't buy a Phantom 8. You really commission one. And if you're going to commission one, it takes 4 to 6 months to build this car. Townsend, I would say with your posh style, this car is exactly up your alley.
Well, Marty, it's looking very posh over there, but it's all about attack here at Lamborghini. This is the most highly anticipated launch for the Detroit show, the Lamborghini Urus, the North American launch. I'm here with Stefano Domenicali, Chairman and CEO of Lamborghini. Stefano, you must be incredibly proud of this beautiful machine.
Yep, I would say 1000 is a great moment for our brand, for our company. Great motivation to the team. Looking forward for the families to enjoy the super sport spirit of Lamborghini.
Well, let's talk about what families could enjoy with this vehicle. Look at the size of these brakes. Are you kidding me? This is the biggest caliper I've ever seen on a road car. 23-inch wheels. This baby is 650 horsepower, over 600 foot-pounds of torque, 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds. Amazing. Of course, it has to have a tailgate like any SUV. It's 5,000 pounds of muscle and agility. Inside, it looks a lot like a Lamborghini Huracan. Once you have the kids buckled in, look at the big baller lifestyle. They're going to enjoy these beautiful big flat screens, climate control adjustment, very much in keeping with the style of this very aggressive Lamborghini look. And then it gets even better for mom and dad up front. You've got the Airwolf start and launch buttons. You've got different modes for off-road: Terra, Sabbia, Neve. That means dirt, snow, sand. This is all about performance, even the full carbon fiber dash inlays. There's no other SUV in the world like it. I don't even think it's fair to call this an SUV. That geometric language from Lamborghini is really translated beautifully, especially in the front. I love the way these floating wings are in here. Again, all of the geometrical design integrated with radar, everything you would expect from a family-friendly SUV. Honey, boys, make room in the garage. I think I might be bringing this one home.
So wait, Townsend, I'm shocked. You found the car with all the speed in Detroit. Was that your favorite car during the week here at the auto show?
I liked it, but it was an off-site Italian high-end party. You know I was going to find a way to be there. But when I come to this show this year, what I really find is the manufacturers are all competing for that customer experience. They want to just envelop the customer in luxury and amenities, and just one after the other. It's amazing what they're packing into these cars. For me, the Lincoln Navigator, specifically the interior seats in the driver's and passenger positions, were unbelievable. They had so much adjustment, massage. It felt like I was in a private jet flying to Monaco or something for the weekend. Now, at the same time, autonomy is less of a focus, I find, this year. They better bring autonomy back if they're going to put those kind of seats in a luxury SUV, because I'll fall asleep at the wheel.
Katie, what were your thoughts of the show? Hopefully you're not falling asleep at the wheel.
Not falling asleep, because what's catching my attention is the Shelby GT500. I mean, all my childhood memories involve riding around on my dad's 72 Mustang, so those always get my attention, especially when Ford announces they're ramping up 700 horsepower in the Shelby GT500. And I mean, you can't beat classic American muscle, plus they brought back the Bullet, so that will be my pick.
Kevin, your thoughts on the show this year?
Well, speaking of the Navigator, I spent some time trying to determine what a truck was. It looks like an SUV to me, but it does tick off all the boxes, and it's the truck of the year. And I dealt with a lot of functionality and things of that sort, but what always catches my eye are the sports cars, and even the cars that have been here for a couple of years, like the Acura NSX, the Ford GT. I think I live vicariously through Townsend. I've always wanted to be a sports car driver. I'll never be able to afford it, but I can still dream.
You know, one thing that really struck my attention, and two of the three of you mentioned it, were trucks. That seemed to be a big focus at the show this year, and it seems to be the consumer is wanting more trucks, and you can see Ford answer that by bringing back the Ranger, and I don't know why that is, but it seems like trucks are making a resurgence, Townsend.
Gas is cheap, and when gas is cheap, the consumer, sentiment preference follows fuel prices. It has for a very long time. So right now, with fuel still very affordable, people are looking at bigger, more power, more luxury, as much as you can pack in. So I think that's why.
Well, it's certainly been fun to talk about all these cars here on the floor at Cobo Hall and bring you the 2018 International Auto Show here on NBC Sports. For Townsend Bell, Katie Hargett, Kevin Lee, I'm Marty Snyder. We'll see you in the showroom this year.